In this podcast, you'll learn the best skincare to use, which is totally natural, how to cope with the sun and tan naturally, the miracle ingredient to take before your holiday to tan better, Nici's story. Nici Burns, my podcast guest. It's an amazing story. She's taken Nibu Naturals, the skincare brand, international. And you'll hear my favourite products as well as hers. And you'll hear an odd anecdote from my radio days in Liverpool. Which was quite fun to remember, actually. Nici Burns is the founder of Nibu Naturals, which you have to try. It's awesome stuff. And in our household, it is the skincare product and brand of choice. Here she is, Nici Burns on Zestology. Nici, how you doing?
I'm really good, thank you.
Oh, we've had such a long natter before we've even started this podcast. If we didn't get started, we would have been chatting for hours.
Yeah, we want to get the nitty bits in.
Yeah, but we've established we've got some old friends from way back because from your party days in Liverpool and my party days in Manchester, and God, do you know, actually, funnily enough, actually, I've got to tell you one more story about that, because we used to, when I worked on a radio station in Manchester, obviously the station Century FM went out to Liverpool as well. And I hosted a gig in Liverpool with someone who was I think she was a pop star. She was a Eurovision, Leona Lewis. Do you remember her? Yeah. And she'd flown up from London for the night on a helicopter to do a gig for competition winners in Liverpool. Yeah. And I hosted it. So I went on the stage. I said, right, guys, well done. You've won the competition. Here she is, Leona Lewis. And she did one song. And then she said, all right, thanks very much for coming. This last song is so-and-so. Everyone was like, hang on, you've only done one song. So she did two songs and then went off because she wanted to go back to London for a party that night.
Oh, no way. Did you fill in?
We had to get a few disco hits on to placate the crowd. But anyway, look, I am such a huge fan of Nibu Naturals, and not just saying that, we use it every day. My wife is a bigger fan. I have to hide it from her. I thought it'd be great to start by sort of asking you how it's all come about.
So, if we strip right back to almost 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with lupus, and I decided against mainstream medicine, and somehow thought I would research how to heal. And it came around the time when I'd become quite obsessive. I'd swapped an eating disorder for an obsession with anti-aging, and I'd read an article on foods to eat for anti-aging. And when I did the research, I had to go to the library back in those days and find books. And the protocol was very similar to the anti-aging protocol food-wise, and it was about eliminating sugars and grains and whatever. And I just went on a journey of healing. And during that journey, I was listening one morning to breakfast TV, as I did back then. Yeah. And one of the doctors, it was either Dr. Hilary Jones or the other guy, I can't remember, who mentioned about a sunscreen for prickly heat. I suffered, part of my condition was when I was in the sun, I would blister. Day 3 in the sun, I would be covered in these horrific blisters. I'd need to go to hospital.
Goodness.
An injection. And I bought certain sun lotions for prickly heat, which what I thought it was. And he'd mentioned, be aware of the sun lotions you buy for prickly heat. There's an ingredient in there that can actually cause the blisters. And he named this long ingredient. And I remember thinking, I'm paying extra money for this sun lotion to start maybe being in pain, and it's actually causing it. So I went to Boots to look at the ingredients in sun lotions to find one without
being dear. Yeah.
And it was when I looked at the back, I never looked at the back of a bottle of anything before.
Yeah.
And every single ingredient I couldn't read. I remember thinking, I'll recognise that because it was a long word.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, what the hell am I on my body? And because I was so unwell and in pain, I just stopped using everything. And I used to use olive oil and lard at the time. It wasn't even tallow. It was good old beefy lard, and just playing around with things. And that evolved over the years. And I cycled in and out of being clean. There wasn't a label to clean at that time. And I began to feel much, much better.
Did you?
symptoms diminished, combined with a lot of mindfulness. I was taught about mindfulness and meditation back when everyone thought it, only witches did that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I say I reversed it. They say it's in remission. And then skincare wise, I started to, when I came across Dave Asprey about 11 years ago. I think I listened to his second podcast, their podcast. And it was through a trainer of mine who introduced me to 4 Hour Diet. What's that guy called?
Oh, Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss.
Yeah.
And I found Dave Asprey through researching him. And that's when I've started to learn about biohacking and MCT oil. And as a recovering anorexia, bulimic, whatever, anything that would keep me slim and the weight off me, I would do. And I knew by having the MCT oil would raise ketones in your body, which would keep you slim. So I remember thinking, I can kill two birds with one stone here. I can use MCT oil to cleanse and moisturize my whole body. So I am going to be enveloped in ketones and I'll stay slim. So I used to use it all over my body. Face, I'd cleanse with it, I'd moisturize with it, and then it became quite expensive. Buying bulletproof at MCT.
Yeah.
Really expensive.
Yeah.
I swapped it with the coconut oil. That happened. Then I had a career change and I trained as a holistic therapist, and I specialized. I was only interested in anti-aging. I wasn't bothered about anything else, just whatever kept you young. And I did facial acupuncture and aromatherapy. And it was only then that my ears pricked up with essential oils. I'd bypassed essential oils when I was a victim of Big Pharma, and I used to just think every drug they offer you take, and that's the only thing that will heal. So I began to look into essential oils and at the anti-aging properties, and I began making oils, mixing essential oils. And after using that on myself, I used to take a supplement called, well, everyone knows Astaxanthin, almost everyone knows Astaxanthin.
Yeah.
One day I took the capsules in olive oil, and I just had this idea of putting a pin through the capsule and adding it to the serum to see if I could make makeup.
Right.
That's how the business evolves. And one Sunday, coming up to 5 years now, I was at one of the meetups with Tim Gray in London in Hill Street. And a guy there was one of the speakers, and he came to speak to me about autoimmune reversal and asked, could we chat on his podcast? And he said, you've got great skin. What do you use on your skin? So I replied, oh, it's just my serum. And he asked where he could buy it. Right, so you can't. I just make it for myself. And he said, you should bottle that up and sell it. And then with that, my friend Jimena, who I think you know, she said to him, and she's a grandmother. So he was saying, you need to sell this serum. But I left and I ignored what he said, because I thought, I'm not a businesswoman. There's not a chance in hell I would be able to, who'd buy from me, who'd be interested in buying anything from me. But it niggled me for about 6 weeks. And then I spoke to a friend who was a serial entrepreneur, and I asked her, I said, do you think I could do that? And she helped set up a Wix account, and we started off buying labels in China. And then I had to research the legal quantities of essential oils. And because when I was making it for me, I was pouring as much in as possible.
Yeah.
Gonna make me look young. I was adding it.
Yeah.
And this rest of the street. That
wow.
Was
it. Yeah. For people who haven't used, because obviously there's a lot of people in the biohacking world who actually know and love what you do now, but there's a lot of people who listen to this podcast all around the world, and some of them might not have tried it out yet. And this astaxanthin is a secret ingredient in some way, because I'm not really a fake tan sort of man, and it's not fake tan, but it gives you this lovely glow using your. And it's I sort of feel like I've just had a couple of days in the sun. Yeah. And it's a pretty miracle ingredient.
Yeah. So what we did, what I did, I added the astaxanthin to give it a slight glow. So although the serum will look a coral, once you apply it to your skin, I think I resemble the pregnancy glow. You know, when someone's pregnant, but nobody knows, but you think she looked really, glowy. So that's the effect of the glow. And then we did the different percentage. So we've got the darker and deeper. And a lot of men do buy the glow darker because it doesn't make you look like you've got makeup on. And it gives you that healthy look. And then we made a man's moisturizer, so men can have that effect in a masculine smelling type of moisturizer.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, no, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I find it, I am also an absolute obsessive when it comes to ingredients in skincare. I'm a particular obsessive about sun cream, and I have searched high and low for the best sun creams, especially here living in Portugal now. You need it all year round. Yeah. And we went on the beach on Saturday and I put sun cream on and I still almost got red.
Supplement with astaxanthin. I'll send you some astaxanthin supplements. So a lot of the okay, so I don't know how much I can say that I've got to be careful legally and how much biohacking, but astaxanthin in the whole health world is known. And if you research Dr. McCullough, he calls it the internal sunscreen. I've always taken it for anti-aging purposes and it helps with eyesight.
Yes.
Apparently there's some research now on it helping the eyes of children who are slightly autistic. I need to find these papers. But it also protects the skin from within. And it protects against UV. So many of my customers take astaxanthin. They say they double up. I can't tell you to do that. The legal dose in the UK is 8 milligram. It's 12 milligram in the US.
Yeah.
If you take astaxanthin a month leading up to a holiday, you will have a lot of customers tell me, and it happens for me, you'll tan differently and you will be able to stay in the sun safer for longer.
No way. Wow.
You have to be sensible. It's not about taking these supplements and going lying, in the midday sun between 12 and 3, which is silly.
Yeah.
But your body will be protected a lot more. And then whatever you put on the outside is just a double barrier of protecting the skin. But you would be better using a cream and add some non-nano zinc oxide to it.
Yeah. Is that quite easy to use because I'd quite like to do that. And we've got a friend over here in Portugal who's made her own sun cream, and it's amazing. Blends in well, smells great. That's the sort of you're doing what I think I love this world. Playing around with essential oils, playing around with moisturizers and concoctions. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's difficult with the zinc. It's difficult if your friend's made one and it blends in amazing. Hats off to her, because when you make it yourself, you have that. I don't know whether you're much younger than me, but when I was a child,
I don't think I'm that much younger than you, but anyway,
I think you are. When you used to get the sun lotion on, and you had this white fill, but you just look like Casper the Ghost.
Yeah.
Zinc oxide will do into a cream, but it protects, and once you wash it off, you will have a nice tan beneath it. But I think it's quite difficult to get the right amount for it to soak in and look good on the skin. And then you mix it with astaxanthin, which I've tried to make one and add astaxanthin, and the colour was luminous.
Oh God, was it?
That wasn't a good combination. But try it. You should try it, especially for your kids.
The best one that I've found is Badger sunscreen. Have you heard of that one?
No.
Very good. Very few ingredients. They've got a kids one as well, and it just seems to work well and blends in well. And some people say it smells they don't really like the smell, but I sort of find it quite comforting that there's so few ingredients. But I think and I have tried so many, and I've tried a lot of the tinted ones as well. They don't really work either, but
Yeah, less ingredients is the best. Just take the smell. You can add certain essential oils in, but you have to be careful with top notes in the sun, because it attracts the sun and then it'll make you burn.
Right.
Better without.
You do get a lot of people in the biohacking world who sort of say, hey, just get in the sun. It's good for you. And that is all very well, but I have got the sort of skin that just goes pink quickly.
You need to know your own skin. I can go in the sun without sunscreen for quite a while. I've got Mediterranean skin, but I wouldn't advise my children to do that because they have paler skin.
Right.
Some tan is healthy, some burn is foolish.
Yeah.
Interrupting this podcast for one moment to remind you that it is brought to you by my friends at BIOptimizers. I am so pleased to partner with them again, refocusing in January after the madness of the holiday season, which seemed to go on for absolutely months. And as well as focusing on diet, stress and sleep, I'm focusing on supplements as well. And I've been taking their magnesium a lot as things come to an end because, well, it helps you fall asleep, stay asleep and wake up refreshed. It doesn't help you go to bed on time. But if you can do that bit, it will help you stay asleep. At least it really does for me as well. It is the only full spectrum magnesium supplement with 7 unique forms of magnesium that your body can actually use and absorb. I exclusively recommend Magnesium Breakthrough. And, if you're struggling to return to your health routine in 2024, I have a lesson to share, and that is focus on the big stuff. Prioritize healthy eating, exercise, stress reduction, and above all, really good quality sleep. And that involves taking a good supplement like Magnesium Breakthrough and then going to bed on time. I can't help you with the second bit, but I can help you with the Magnesium Breakthrough. If you're interested in taking that supplement that I have been talking about for a long time on this podcast, you can head over to bioptimizers.com/Zestology. That is bioptimizers.com/Zestology and use the code Zestology10. So it's Zestology10 for 10% off. This podcast is also brought to you by my online program, the Healthy AF Method, the mindset method that transforms your health. And it's been brilliant. It's been so exciting doing this in 2024 because we've got an online community and I speak to a lot of people individually as well because it's on WhatsApp, so people can just slide into my DMs if they've got a question. And it's just been so brilliant refocusing on all of this stuff at the start of 2024. It is the chance to heal, optimize, and transform your health with NLP and energy psychology. This is my proven signature health mindset program, and I would love you to come and join me and embark on a transformation in 2024. Head to TonyWrighton.com/healthy if you're interested in taking part. I'd absolutely love to welcome you. And again, if you use the code Zestology10, you can get 10% off just by being a listener to Zestology. Just to let you know what we work on in this transformative program, it is all about using NLP to transform your health and your life by embarking on a health transformation, helping your healing and living the healthy AF lifestyle. And I think also I would say elevating our health IQ. It's really, really important that, sort of emotionally and mentally what's going on when you think about health affects so much what's going on physically. And if you can start to set and achieve health milestones by using this stuff, that is really satisfying. So it's TonyWrighton.com/healthy. Use the code Zestology10 for 10% off that, 10% off the Magnesium Breakthrough as well. And I'd love you to come and join us in January. This is the time when we all reset and refocus, and I'd love to be a part of that with you. That's it. Back to the show.
So how's the business going? I mean, it's must be quite exciting because you've been adopted by the biohacking community and everybody loves your products. And we've been talking about it here in Portugal. And I said to our friends who run XL Coffee, Alex and Kirsty over here recently, I said, I'm getting some Nibu Naturals at Christmas. And they were so jealous. So you get talked about all over Europe.
Oh, and I spoke to Kirsty the other day. So we've done a nice little swap because I obviously drink XL coffee.
Yeah.
And I actually use, I don't know whether you know this trick, when you've had your coffee, your filter coffee, use the beans to exfoliate your body.
I don't.
Oh my gosh, I've been doing this for years. So you get your beans, add it to some cream. I don't. I just wet my body and exfoliate your entire body.
Right.
With antioxidant beans.
Wow.
The skin, and it leaves your skin feeling super soft. And another trick is to buy a nut bag and put the grinds in, fill a bath and just lie in a coffee bath and just...
No way.
Yeah.
You realise, Faith, my wife, is going to be doing that tonight, or as soon as she listens to this podcast.
And then you'll have to clean the bath after it.
Yeah.
So I'm really going back to you. You're speaking about the biohacking community. Yeah. I literally, fell into business that wasn't my intention, and every single person in the community has been such a valued part of my life. You know, when other parts of my life have been really, really, really shitty, I've just been cradled by that community, and you know, personally and in business. And I'm so lucky to have the support, just the verbal support, even as you say, you're speaking about it to Kirsty and then they know about it. Just honestly, I am so, so grateful. And it's by the likes of yourselves speaking about it that I went global. That was not an intention, but I literally sell all over the world.
Wow.
Sometimes I cannot believe that I began this from the kitchen.
Yeah.
Insecure woman trapped in a child's mind of, you know, I'm worthless, I'm this, I'm that. And here I am. And I'm really, really grateful.
Yeah. And then sort of personally speaking, has it sort of mirrored a person you just mentioned there that, you know, you sort of had your, obviously you've alluded to that in this interview.
Yeah.
Has the business building up sort of mirrored what's been going on in your own life as well?
Yeah. So but I'd say 20, can I swear? I don't like.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so 2023, I'm glad to see the back of it because it was the worst year of my entire life. But it was also the most fulfilling year. I grew so much. I got divorced. Well, getting divorced. I found myself homeless, without a home for most of the year. I went to a festival and was assaulted and nearly lost my eye.
I couldn't believe that. I saw that on your Instagram. Unbelievable.
Honestly,
and it was a health festival as well, wasn't it?
it was the medicine festival.
Yeah.
I was walking through the field and this huge staff about that big just took
a dog. It was a dog.
No, a staff, but no, like a huge staff that you throw a stick.
Oh God, really?
Like a Viking would use. It's about that big. Apparently, it was javelined into my eye, but it felt like it hit my eye.
Oh my God!
But with, you know what, with being grateful and mindfulness and biohacking,
yes,
I was so lucky I didn't lose my eye. It's right there. But I've got a minimal scar, external scar, and internally, I've worked a lot. You know, I've worked a lot on myself over the last 20 years. Most of the last 5 years, I've worked closely with plant medicine, which is, I owe my life to. It's what held me and it's what guided me to be where I am today.
Wow.
The trials and tribulations of life.
Wow.
I came back from the jungle last November after drinking ayahuasca and thought I'd resigned to the fact this is the way my life is. And my lifestyle was luxurious. And my lifestyle, but my life wasn't what people thought it would be. And, you know, didn't feel like I had love or appreciated. And it was lonely. It was lonely in a guilt cage. And I thought, this is it. And within 36 hours of coming back from Peru, my life tumbleweeded. I am where I am today. You know, I've been through hell and back. And in the beginning of the year, I remember thinking, why has the medicine done this to me? You know, I've worked with ayahuasca for years, and mushrooms and San Pedro. Why would it put me in this position? I didn't ask for this. Well, we ask for everything, don't we? We ask for everything. And, you know, the answer from my shaman was, you chose the path you're on now. The medicine just gave you the tools and the strength to follow the path.
Yeah.
I wanted to run right back up the garden path and go back to where I felt comfortable.
Yeah.
But there was no choice. And as the year evolved and I evolved and I've had some huge lessons this year, even to the people I attracted into my life in certain situations, I realised, I've still got a lot of work to do on myself, still got a lot of healing to do. But I could also look back on the journey and think, wow.
Yeah.
It's off to you, Nick. You've done a good job.
That's great with the plant medicine as well. It's really interesting. And I know a lot of people in our world are looking a lot more into that on a macro and a micro dosing level at the moment. And we've done a few podcasts on that recently.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan. I'm a bit cautious or concerned about how it's being used nowadays. You know, the the microdosing, to connect to it is, I've seen a lot of macro dose to escape. So that's quite worrying, and I'm really passionate about the healing powers of plant medicine and how it's used.
Yeah.
So I have so much respect for it, and I find it difficult when I see people misusing it, and I find it sad when I see people misusing it because they think they're helping themselves and they're actually doing more damage because they're just masking and escaping the reality. I think you don't use plant medicine to heal. You work with plant medicine,
right? Yeah,
and you work with it, and
yeah,
you've got to use it in the right way.
Paul Austin is an interesting person to look at. He's written a book on mastering microdosing, and I've had him on this podcast as well.
Oh, okay.
And it's really interesting because he sort of talks about how all the lessons that you can get from, very respectfully, as you obviously have, going to the jungle in Peru and taking ayahuasca, or having a sort of a mega mushroom trip, guided, with intention, with setting.
Yeah.
You can get that from microdosing as well. And again, he says it's all about the intention and the setting, the setting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And breath work, you can get so much from breath work too.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the jungle and take ayahuasca. You don't have to go and have a mega mushroom trip. But if you do, it is about the intention. You could equally sit in in the local room, sport tent, whatever, with a decent breathwork coach, set an intention, and on a great trip on your own breath. If you're being held by the right person, and
really
experienced enough to do it yourself.
Yeah, I'd love to look into that.
Breathwork, phenomenal, transformational. If you would do it with the right person, if you don't want to, you'd really be doing. You should never do breathwork on your own when you're holding breath, and I don't think that's actually that good for you. But I'll tell you who's a great guy, and I should introduce you to him. Kev from Breathe Illusion.
Right.
Know him?
No, I don't know. No.
Really great guy. Breathwork coach. So I do a lot with him, and honestly, I can come away from a breathwork session, cry. Well, not come away. I'll finish it or during the session, and I will cry and cry and cry, and I literally release so much. That there's so much crap that I didn't think I still had in a breathwork class.
Wow.
The last year after the jungle, in New Year's Day, I flew straight to Spain and did a 5-day breathwork class, and the breathwork classes each morning there took me back to the jungle.
Wow.
I was back in that jungle drinking ayahuasca with breath.
Whenever you talk about the jungle, I think of I'm a Celebrity, but that's what I'm a Celebrity should be, shouldn't it? Like everyone go off and do ayahuasca. Nigel Farage doing ayahuasca.
Oh my God. Yeah, we'd leave him on his own. We wouldn't hold space for him.
He might have a complete sort of revelation. They'd be like, I take it all back.
Absolutely. And I would say I'm a snob. I like nice things. I like nice things, I like nice hotels. And for me, going to a third world country was difficult. Oh my God. And we did it quite high class. We didn't do it with a backpack. I did it with 30-kilo case.
Where did you go to?
We went to various places. We flew to Lima. We spent a night this was scheduled properly. And she is one of only 2 shamans who are accepted in the jungle of Peru, female Western shamans.
Wow.
Jungle of Peru. So she organises it. She's been doing it for 25 years. What I love about Anna is that she looks like us. She's not tattooed up and beads up. She looks like a lawyer. So very, very like Western grounded. And we flew to Lima, then we went from Lima to Cusco right up to the Sacred Valley.
Yeah.
Valley back to Cusco. Then we did all Sesiwaima. We did so many places. A lot of energy work. It was tough.
Wow.
Because we were doing a lot of release in Machu Picchu. We were connecting properly with the energies. Then the last week, we flew down to Iquitos. We had one night in a 5-star hotel, the only 5-star hotel there.
Yeah.
And then it was game over. Then you were in the jungle.
Wow.
Light for 2 hours a day. A fan for 2 hours a day, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. 30 odd degrees, long sleeves, I was frightened of the spiders. I was petrified, literally petrified. Everywhere I moved, I was terrified because we get, told about how to move away from spider, how to tell if a spider's angry. Do a ceremony in Cusco. We did San Pedro ceremony in Cusco in the valley, and this huge spider was on the medicine bottle. Huge. But apparently the big ones are not the ones to be frightened of. It's the cute ones that kill. And then the poisonous frogs. I honestly, it was awful. I was so excited to go to the jungle. I'm a nature person. I connect with the energies of, trees are great and all that. And it's like, when I get to the jungle, I'm going to be in the elements. Oh my God. I hated the jungle and the jungle. Me.
Oh God. Well done getting through it. Amazing.
It was horrific.
Yeah.
We went for the Amazon and then we are connected with the jungle and
Very good. Well, you and I are cooking up a plan, aren't we? To I want to organise this little biohackers weekend here in Portugal and invite over some of our friends. It's just going to be a chance to hang out, but there won't be any poisonous frogs or spiders. And I'm trying to think: should we go for the 5-star accommodation on the golf course, or should we go for the sort of? My friend's got a sort of 3.5, 4-star rustic farmhouse about 15 minutes away from here, which is massive and beautiful.
So the new me says go for rustic.
Good.
I can step into both worlds now because I've visited more third world countries now, and actually makes you realise how lucky you are.
Yeah.
So now I'm not a flying business class kind of 5-star kind of girl. I quite like. Well, yeah. Take that back. I am.
You do bit of both.
Equally, I enjoy doing the real, you spend the time in the forest, lighting a fire with friends. I'd rather do that with the special people than be on a business class flight to Dubai and have to be around.
That's what we'll do. We'll have campfires, barbecues. We'll do a bit of breath work. We'll have all sorts. Yeah. Nici, I've got about a minute left. What is one book that's had an impact on you? Something that you've enjoyed that has an impact, and it doesn't have to be a book. It could be a film, it could be a podcast, it can be sort of anything culturally that has inspired you.
Oh, it depends. Okay, book-wise, books. If we go right back to 20 odd years ago, one of the first books that had a major impact on my life was John Gray's How to Get What You Want and Want What You Have. Yeah,
great.
We are striving so much for the things we don't have, and we forget to appreciate what we actually do have.
Yeah.
So I'd say that one, but I'm going to have to throw another one in. One that saved my life, and he knows this, is Paul McKenna's I Can Make You Thin.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not about making you thin. That's the book that taught me mindfulness and visualization. And he was the final piece of my pie to release me from the food prison I was locked in when I had an eating disorder. And it's an easy read.
Yeah.
If you want to go a bit deeper into, sorry, I know this is 3, I can't count. Rubbish on that. But the Cosmic Serpent. If you're into spirituality, and it's not an easy read, but if you want to really understand how we are connected to spiritually with our DNA and the Cosmic Serpent, that is a good book.
Paul McKenna, I did my neuro-linguistic programming training with.
Oh,
so
really?
I became a master practitioner and then a trainer's trainer. At the time, he ran the biggest training company in the world, and I did that with him in London while I was living in Manchester.
Saved my life. And I spoke about this on a live with Davinia Taylor, and I a lot of people were asking about the book, and he actually sent me a message and thanked me for talking about it, because I spoke about my journey and my eating disorder journey and how that was.
Wow. Got about a minute left because we're running out of Zoom time. But what the last question I always ask is, what is one tip you would give people for living with more energy and vitality?
Okay. Be present. Listen to what people are actually saying to you, because we're all interested. We listen to what someone's saying to us and we think, oh, I want to tell you my part. I learned this in this shamanic journey. It's called ECOS. Listen to what people are saying, repeat, and get out in nature. Take your shoes off, get out on the earth. Be grateful that you can actually walk those legs out onto the earth. Take a deep breath. It's free.
Lovely. Yeah. And I would add to that, to anyone listening to this who hasn't tried Nibu Naturals, give it a go. A little slice of joy in your day, and it does make you look like you've had just a lovely weekend in Portugal. So where can people find out more about you and about Nibu Naturals as well?
The best place is Instagram, maybe. Instagram and website. Well, yeah, we're very active on Instagram, so it's Nibu_Naturals on Instagram.
Lovely. All right, brilliant. Great to talk to you. Thanks, Nici.
Thank you to Nici. Please do check out Nibu Naturals and maybe even tell her that you heard about it on this podcast as well. That'd be nice of you to do. And then she'll know where you heard about her. Thanks for listening. As always, really appreciate it. Lots of good stuff coming up. I think next week's not 100% confirmed, but next week's might be a personal update. And there's been a lot going off and on in my life. So really good stuff and some fairly stressed stuff. And I'll tell you about it all. And this show is brought to you by BIOptimizers, my podcast partners. If you are still struggling to return to your health routine this January, well, focus on the big stuff. That is healthy eating, exercise, quality sleep. And if the sleep is a bit of a struggle, you could try upping your magnesium dose if you haven't already, or taking magnesium. I exclusively recommend Magnesium Breakthrough. The actual dosage on Magnesium Breakthrough is 2 a day, and I take 1 a day at night. But if I sort of do feel particularly run down or a bit, sometimes when you do a lot of exercise and it's very hot, you get almost a little bit, you got the sweat cramps and you get a little bit dehydrated and almost a bit jerky. I'm not sure that's a technical term, but that's what I get. And then I up my dose of Magnesium Breakthrough. It's the only full spectrum magnesium supplement with 7 unique forms of magnesium. Any questions, you can always reach out to me, usual places. And you can head over to bioptimizers.com/zestology and enter the code zestology10 at checkout. Little secret, that code will work on all the BIOptimizers products. So whether you're going to bioptimizers.com/zestology or the co.uk site, bioptimizers.co.uk, use the code zestology10 and that will help you get 10% off. Obviously, this podcast is also brought to you by the Healthy AF method. This is my signature method to help you heal, optimize and transform your health with NLP and energy psychology. So good to have the new sign-ups, the new cohort for 2024 over the last month or so. And if you've got any questions on that, please do reach out. And that is TonyWrighton.com/healthy. It's TonyWrighton.com/healthy. That's it. Thanks for listening. See you next week.